Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another week of Caffeine and Creatives. I am your host, X. Thank you for everybody for tuning in with us this week. If you haven't yet, take the time out right now to like and subscribe to the YouTube page. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube page and follow us also on Instagram. Just made the Instagram page. Follow us at Caffeine and Creatives on Instagram. That is at Caffeine and Creatives on Instagram. This week, I had a very special guest on the show, my guy Breeze the Barber, the man with the magic hands. If his fade was any better, he would be MJ or Kobe. I promise you, the man is nice with some clippers. We sat down, had a very good conversation to talk about culture. My guy is the owner of True Culture Barber Lounge in Ackworth, Georgia. We talked about where is culture now, where has culture been. If you was wondering what that noise was in the background, say what's up to my guy Java. Say, hey Java. This is Java, everybody. My guy Breeze. We sat down, we talked about culture, black culture specifically. Where is culture? Where has culture been? What is influencing culture today? Why? Important questions that we feel like need answers, and we talked about them. Without further ado, my guy Breeze, the barber, check him out. This is Caffeine and Creatives. I am X. I appreciate you guys. I will see you on the next episode. Y'all be easy. What is going on? Welcome back to Caffeine and Creatives. I am your host, X. Today, like I said many of times, if you have looked at my Instagram and you've ever seen the fresh cut, if you've seen the razor game, like my man's got razor game like 2010. Like take Motorola.
Facts.
Facts. Man got 2010 Motorola razor game.
It's swift,
with
man.
The Clippers. Barber extraordinaire, entrepreneur, business owner. True Culture Barber Lounge, my guy.
Sir.
Breeze. What is going on today?
It's a pleasure, man. I'm humbly and happy to be here, brother, for real.
Hey, you and me both. We were just talking earlier off camera. We were saying like how we're blessed to do what we love to do every single day.
Every day.
But it's always good when you have a day to not have to think so detail oriented about what you got going on. You can kind of move with the flow. You know what I mean? So
exactly what I'm doing today.
Yeah,
whatever the day brings, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I feel you. And we blessed to be in position to be able to do that and not have to worry about what we got to do tomorrow.
Facts.
So, what you got going on today?
Today, man, I'm working. I'm active. I'm in the city. I got my artists coming in town. Got a couple other producers that's coming in town. We're just gonna link up. Probably hit like 2 or 3 different studios a night and just try to network, man. That's what I've been doing. So got me where I'm at today.
You said you got your artist coming through.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I just gave my man the barber hat on the intro, but my man said his artist coming. What exactly does Breeze have going on?
I got multiple businesses, man.
Because the people need. This is why I like bringing people like you on the show, because a creative. A lot of people. I brought people on I had a conversation with my friend Melissa, who's a chef, on the show.
Gotcha.
And prior to her coming on the show, she was like, "I'm not a creative. Like, what? Like, do I need?" Right. I'm like culinary arts.
It's definitely creative, for sure, on all aspects.
In all aspects, if you do anything on a level where you just operate with where your input is a majority of your paycheck,
it's a creative for sure.
You're a creative.
Absolutely.
Like literally, your spin on whatever. There's a lot of people that do what we do.
Yep.
People come to you for how you do it.
Absolutely.
You're a creative.
So yeah, just a little breakdown about me. I guess this is actually a perfect time to sit down and do this talk, man, because I do have a lot of businesses and I'm a jack of all trades, but I guess people are just trying to pinpoint who I am and what is it that I do. So I'm gonna start off from the beginning, the original. I
Mm-hmm.
am a master licensed cosmetologist. I'm the owner and CEO of True Culture Barber Lounge, and that's in Acworth, Georgia. And I'm also the owner and operator of True Culture Management. Um, I started cutting hair back in 2013. I actually worked in one shop for like 6 years straight. It was a good experience. I
Mm-hmm.
learned a lot. Sometimes in that process, I kind of felt like, when is my time coming? I've been here this long, but I just trusted the process and kept things going. And then actually, I finally decided, I just wanted to be my own boss. So I left there, and my wife had actually just opened up a beauty salon. So we partnered together, and I worked with her for like 2 or 3 months, and then I actually left, found a different shop, and that was December of 2019, last year, and then actually of 2020, and then in January of 2020, I actually bought the shop that I was working at. So I was there for
Boss
probably,
moves.
literally, bro, there for less than 6 months, working as an employee. And then when the owner decided to leave, he sold me the shop. So that's where True Culture Barber Lounge came about.
Hey, a lot of people don't know. Like, I couldn't even fathom of how to like make that pivot if I was in that situation.
It's a
Like,
blessing, bro.
yeah, like how
Straight
you
from
go.
God.
Like, what it. I don't know. We'll talk about that later.
Facts.
That's on the business side of what that looks like.
It was a
Because
360.
yeah, I was about to say
Three sixty, bro.
the business side of what it looks like to be an employee somewhere, and then
Turn
the
around
the
and run the
own the owner
business.
say, "Hey, I'm trying to sell the shop," and then you be in a position to know what you need to do in order
Absolutely.
to take that on. Like, what
Absolutely.
is that? What does that responsibility plate look like?
I feel like I feel like my longevity in the other shop, being in the other shop, the 6 years, what I'm saying, that actually gave me an opportunity not to necessarily know how to run a shop, but know how I would want my business to be ran.
Mm-hmm.
As far as marketing, promotion, keeping everything clean, how I want the business to run. I kind of learned it because even though I wasn't the owner of that shop, I was the first person there every day, and I was the last person leaving every day,
Mm-hmm.
regardless. So I just kind of looked at it as, okay, maybe this isn't my opportunity to take over, but this is my opportunity to learn. And that's what
Facts.
I did for 6 years straight. I just learned. And then when the opportunity came for me to run my own business, it's kind of like hand in hand. When he handed it to me, I handed it to myself and just kind of took that responsibility on.
Mm. Yeah, I feel that. I feel the same way. I think I was in a similar position with my matter of fact, how we met when I got my first internship at
Facts.
Blue Room Studios,
Facts.
and then like I pivot interning to like actually engineering at the studio, and
Facts.
then like being at a studio like that with the A-list clientele that comes through there. It's
Absolutely.
like you really you pick up on a lot of things, and it's just like, and then after that going to like every studio in the
Facts.
city,
I already
you
know it.
realize that every studio is not the same.
Facts. Absolutely.
Like, you might be able to get a decent sound in some studios, but there's certain studios that like just have that next level of comfort, and like you
Absolutely.
walk in our studios and it's just like you comfortable. There's water there, you got
Facts.
snacks or something
Facts.
like
You
that.
wanted to feel like a home. Absolutely.
Yeah,
When you walk in the
it's
studio.
homey. It's very inviting. Talk a little bit about the you said you got an artist coming in town.
Yeah, I got my
What's going on with the True Culture Management?
I got my artist coming in town. I just want to really give a breakdown on the whole True Culture name and how it came about before I get into that.
Mm.
Really, I was just like, I would say about 3 years ago, I'm at the shop, not my shop, but I'm working for someone. And, I'm just looking at exactly how the music culture is going and how the fashion culture is going, and seeing, exactly who's at the top and who's the influencers in those areas. And I just kind of looked at it, and then for me, don't want to go on the race, but for I feel like for our generation and our race, it's kind of like a confusion
Mm.
on exactly what the culture is. A lot of people look at the cars and the clothes and the money, the beautiful women and all that, and look and make it seem like that's the culture we all supposed to follow by. But I look at things a little different. I look at more family oriented. Having a wife, kids. Business, more of supporting the community instead of more being the flash and the head of the community. So I just kind of looked at that and I'm like, man, there's really no true culture out in the industry, and I just kind of like stuck with that. And
Mm.
then from there, I just kind of I branded it, and then I just ran with it from there. And everybody that I met that introduced my company name. They just like they looked at it the same way. So I
Mm.
figure like for my soul, like it's just more of not more of a name, but it's more of how I want the next generations to come about. I want them to look at the culture and look at it differently, other than getting the best car and getting the flyest jewelry. Like I want them to actually, each one and teach one. If you're in a position to help somebody, help that person so you can bring them up with you. That's just how I look at it, though.
That's crazy. I'm thinking like, what kind of position, what kind of mindset, or what drove you to be the person that that gives that hand versus like trying to look for people to. I don't even. I'm trying to figure out how to, like, cause you're right now with True Culture, like you're creating something where it's kind of like, all right, nobody's carrying this on their back,
Absolutely.
and I feel like it's kind of up for grabs, and like I can't let us go out like that.
I can't.
So like, let me create something that fills that void, that's authentic, like that.
Absolutely.
So what kind of headspace are you in where it's like, all right, I gotta, nobody else is doing this, like this gotta be me, like, you know what I mean?
I mean, at the time when I made the name, I was going through a lot, like a whole lot around that time. My mom was actually sick in the hospital. She was sick, so I was traveling back and forth to Atlanta, to South Carolina, like every other day. Visiting her in the hospital, not knowing exactly what's going on. And then, like a couple months later, I actually lost my mom. So that
Mm.
jump was like a big loss. And then I just kind of like looked at my life, and then I just had to reset. My diet. I wasn't working out. Just
Mm.
my passion for just moving. I just looked at her life like, okay, if she can get her life taken so young, like why am I not living out every day, going where I'm
Mm.
supposed to go? So I just kind of took that as motivation and started eating right, started listening to more sermons, and of course I like to keep God first. So I just
Mm.
woke up every
Big
morning and
facts.
was listening to him, bro, listening to him, and he's never guided me wrong. So I kind of take that, and yeah, that's what kind of just led me to like, man, I can put this thing on my back. My mom's watching over me. I got a lot more family and people out there that's watching over me. So I just feel like I got to put it on my back for them, man. I got to put it on my back for them for sure.
Facts. So you got the barbershop at the
Yep,
top of 2020.
absolutely. That's number one on the
Um,
list.
but you've had the True Culture name since when?
Since I got my LLC in 2018, probably at the end of the year 2018. So
So when you originally made True Culture with more so
it was
like
just
the motive in mind,
exactly,
right? You know what I mean? With the
exactly,
motive in mind, like what translated first? Was it like,
exactly.
all right, I'm gonna help out some? What's the first thing you? What was your mindset of like, all right, this is the first thing I'm gonna touch with this
it was
mindset?
it was more the name, because I'm not even gonna lie. Like I had the name, and then I actually started having meetings in the shop. Like every
Mm.
week I would have meetings where it would be people that would come in, and I would say, hey, we're meeting this time. We can come in and we can just kind of talk about how we can invest or make things better in the community. Because to me, I have a son, so I
Mm.
don't want my son to necessarily grow up and have to go through the same struggles I did. So I'm like, if I can work with a group of individuals to make it easier on all our kids and ourselves, why not? So that's really where it started from. It was really to start in the community and to build something, bro, for the kids. So because I know even with police brutality, just a lot of things that we're uneducated about. So I just wanted to put a platform where if you need help with anything, in the black community, you could come there either at the barbershop or you just come to True Culture and you get a list of whatever you need.
Mm.
So it didn't even start with a barbershop. It didn't start with a management. It was just the name and me trying to give back to the community. That's really where I stamped it at.
Okay,
And
and
from
so
there it grew.
since then it's definitely
For
grew.
sure, for sure.
It's definitely
For
grew.
sure.
So what are some of the things that are more physical and tangible now? Like after like you went from having meetings to it's like our True Culture Barber Lounge, now your True Culture Management. Like what do we have underneath the belt that's been like solidified avenues of like you
Um,
touching the people?
Absolutely, yeah. God blessed me with the barbershop, so that's really number one on the list. Like I actually have my own establishment and facility, so when they walk in, I can give them my definition of how I would want my culture to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one. So the shop is number one on the list, and then I got my management company. I'm trying to work with different artists, and not necessarily build a label, but just build more of an empire to give different avenues to artists outside of music.
Hmm.
More of investing, real estate, property, just other things that at the end of the day, when you retire, you wanna be comfortable and you want your family to be taken care of. And I know a lot of entertainers, entrepreneurs. We live, fast lifestyles. Others are, on the faster, and others are just in kind of the going. So I wanted to, I guess, establish a way to keep everyone on the same path, but the smart path. Kind of got a little lost there, but I just wanted to build an avenue where we can all come together, invest, and help each other, bro. That's really what I'm about. True culture and my name. I rather see other people and bring them up with me than just bringing myself up.
I feel it. I think you idea, and this is the first one's for free.
For sure.
You should consider making true culture. You have true culture management.
Right.
You should redefine the word investment, right? And you should have a true culture investment group.
I like that. I really like that.
Okay,
I
that's
like
what I'm
that.
saying. You should have true culture investment group.
That one's for
And
free.
that one's for free.
All right, bet. I'm gonna jot that one down for
True
sure.
culture investment group, but the investment group is redefining what it means to invest. We're not just talking about just money.
Facts.
It's kind of like you come into this space where the culture is already curated,
Absolutely.
and we figure out what needs to be invested.
Absolutely. I
So
love
if
that.
it's a money thing, then we go figure out how to get those funds.
Absolutely.
If it's a like project management thing, figure out how to do
Zoning,
that. You know what I mean? Zoning,
whatever we need.
whatever you need.
I like
come,
that.
come to true culture to have the conversation.
Absolutely.
Because what I realize, people don't know what they need.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
But a lot of times people don't. A lot of times people, you talk to a lot of people and they don't like. They know that they're not where they want to be.
Absolutely.
They don't know what they need to get there.
But if you show them an avenue on how they can get there, you can make it
Yeah.
easier for them, or maybe give them some motivation to,
Yeah,
put some action.
9 times out of 10, it's kind of like how like where they trying to get to and how they trying to get there is two different things. It's like
Absolutely.
sometimes it just takes somebody like us to like show them and be like, all right, well, I know you wasn't even thinking about this over here,
Absolutely.
but if you do this, then
It'll get you 10 steps closer.
they'll get you 10 steps closer to that, and then you
Absolutely.
can just pivot that to this,
Absolutely.
and then a couple steps after that, you exactly where the conversation
So
we
we're
had.
gonna we gonna build the stepping stone foundation for the culture,
The
man.
stepping stone foundation.
sure.
That's true culture.
For sure. That's
I was
where it
thinking
starts.
about I told you I be having like random thoughts, and
I
I be
love it,
writing,
bro.
writing stuff
I
down
love
on my
it,
phone,
bro.
right? So I was having a random thought, and I was like, culture wise,
Facts.
like just having let's go down this road.
Let's
real
go.
quick. So culture wise, like in the black community specifically,
Yep.
culturally, our ancestors we grew up on having stories from the elders,
Yep.
right? So, like the older generations, everybody remembers and everybody knows sitting in front of their grandma and their grandma telling them about wherever they came from,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Wherever they came from, everybody got grandma stories,
Facts.
right? At what point in our in that bloodline did we stop telling stories?
Honestly, I feel like when the technology came out, when the iPads and the iPhones and like the one-on-one connection stopped telling, and it just was like whatever's posted on the internet is what's teaching us now.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's not necessarily because you can see something and it not change your mindset, but it'll still put an idea in your mindset that maybe it is true. But I feel like a lot of us see things and we don't do our own research, so we just see it and then we kind of spread it, and then it spreads and then it spreads, and then it's a whole bunch of false information being put out there.
Right. So where do you think that we as a culture are all right, so let me reframe this so
Gotcha.
it makes more sense. We as black people,
Right.
where are black people getting their culture from these days?
It's crazy because
If it's not handed down from, you know what I mean?
We
if
had
we're
this-
not having if we don't have those stories.
I agree. We had this conversation in the barbershop at least once or twice a week. Like, where exactly is the influence coming from? And the more and the more that I look, like I said, social media is a big probably the number one influence is the internet. Because not that many people read books or look into magazines. It's just like, when they pick up their phone, that's what they see. So I feel like right now our biggest influencers, it's sad to say, but as a whole, it's in either the rap industry, either in the sports industry, and you might have a kid or two that wants to be a movie actor, and that can be a successful movie actor. So I feel like right now it's kind of like a blur for us, even though we're looking at the athlete and the rapper. And I'm not even going to mention the drug dealer, even though that's a lot of motivation too for some kids growing up, because honestly, that's sometimes all they know. But yeah, I feel like either the rapper or a sports player, man, is like the biggest influence, and kids just kind of follow that. They follow that.
So, in your opinion, where do you think that flow of influence should come from?
I think it should come from like you said, from grandma to aunties, like the mom and pop businesses. Like you got to really see what's in the community, because you can take your influence from somebody who has everything, but it's like you got to take it back to, okay, now what is he doing to impact the people that are watching him? And I feel like it has to be more trades involved, like more plumbers, more radio personnel, more people who want to start their own business, lawn care, whatever that is, that you can start your own business and then you can pass that down. You got to have something to pass down.
Yeah, I think we kind of hit that. Our generation hit that mark. So I feel like our like people our age, like we kind of hit reset on
I
that a
agree.
little bit
I
because
agree.
a lot of us have our own businesses.
Yep, that's
A
true.
lot of us have multiple businesses.
That's true.
And we're starting to touch other stuff. Like we realized that like small history lesson, not to even
Talk to me.
go back.
I'm
So
always
like
listening.
so right after the period after the Great Depression,
Right.
where everybody lost jobs and businesses were shut down and stuff. That was like the equal. That was an equilibrium of society,
Absolutely.
where it's kind of like, all right, the rich people don't got money
Yep.
and the black people don't got money.
Yep.
So it was like, all right, who can build up faster after that? So so you go through that generation where it's kind of like everybody's trying to get a job, everybody's trying to get in these larger corporations that
Yep.
are still standing, trying to get any type of trickle down money as
Yep.
possible, as humanly possible. And then you have the generation where it's kind of like, all right, we're gonna start our own. We have enough money. We're gonna start our own small businesses, so like I can take care of mine, and I'm not
Absolutely.
on somebody else's like clock on
Absolutely.
what I can do,
Yep.
right? And then you have the generation after that that gets handed the family business.
Right.
But the difference between now and the Great Depression, to me, is that when when parents were handing down businesses back then, the kids didn't want the
I
businesses.
agree.
Those kids wanted to go to school and be lawyers and doctors and stuff like that. They didn't want the
Absolutely.
family business,
Absolutely.
right? Our generation, I feel like, cracked the code, which is the small improvement on that thought process, where it's kind of like, all right, we're starting businesses, and we realize that we don't have to go into the store to own a store,
Absolutely.
right? Back then, it was kind of like if your pops owned a butcher shop and
You have
you
to be
and you
there.
handed down and you got the butcher shop,
Right.
then you gonna be a butcher.
Right. You're in there chopping meat.
You were here chopping meat.
For sure.
Now it's kind of like, all right, I can own a butcher shop. I can hand my son a butcher shop after I'm gone, and he don't even have to step foot in the butcher
Absolutely.
shop.
It's all about teaching them how to run the business.
You're right, exactly. So it's like I think we did that better, which I feel like puts us in a whole different lane
Absolutely.
of like sustainability and legacy within the culture. So
Abs-
so I'm thinking of like how history repeats itself, right? Like how are we going to re-implement those that handing the culture down now that we kind of are putting that, like you said, like we need more of these small businesses, people being plumbers and all of these other trades, where
Right.
it's kind of like we have these different businesses to hand down to the next generation. How do we hand that down, and now do we reinvest in the culture of influence
I agree.
within it?
I mean, you hit it right on the head when you said like we were more awoke than the first generation, and I feel like the generation after us, they have more. I'm not even gonna call it cheat codes. They have more avenues and ways to be successful, but at the same time, they don't want to listen to learn those ways.
Facts.
So you can have the ways and show someone, and then they don't listen to learn it, and then they end up working in the same realm and then having to work their way up. But I feel like it's just more teaching now. Like it's we can't show and tell someone like to like just work hard, work hard. We got to actually show them how to work smarter,
Mm-hmm.
work more efficient. You know, so when it comes down to the physical work, they're doing less of it, but they're seeing a more return on their money.
Mm. And that's when you come to true culture.
That's it. That first stepping stone. So you want if you got an
Like how
idea,
I bought that around.
facts. If you got an idea and you just need a stepping stone, that's where you come, man. That's what I'm trying to make it for real.
Yeah, that's what I see. That's what I see it being. I explained all of that for you to know. Like, all right, this is what I see true
For sure.
culture being.
For sure.
True culture outside of like just being a business entity or something for a tax write off.
Absolutely.
It's what it should in my mind and what I feel like it cultivates and has the opportunity to cultivate is those spaces to have that conversation of
Absolutely.
how do we take our culture and effectively hand it down and create the Vanderbilt Rockefeller
Absolutely. 'Cause that's
mindset.
that's what the bigger corporations are doing. I don't see any big corporations, handing or even selling their business to an outside corporation. It's
Yeah.
all family.
Yeah.
And they're teaching them how to take care of it so they can keep it for generations and I just feel like as a people we got to do that all the way down. Not even from our kid, like from cousins, half cousins. We got to bring the family in there.
What are some ways, if you a little personal,
Talk to them.
what are some ways that you feel like you're effectively handing that down? Because both of us being fathers of young boys, you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
What are some ways that you feel like you invested in that time and handing that down to the seeds?
I mean, with me, of course, starting with my barbershop, I'm just trying to build it to be the biggest, baddest shop that you've ever seen, and even going deeper into that more than just a barbershop where you come in, even if you're not wanting to get a haircut, you might want to come in and have a conversation, and spark a conversation. You need business tips, you need business ideas, you need things that you want to invest in. You just come in and get that in true culture. So for me, I really want to start with my barbershop, man, so I can kind of build that, and then I can not necessarily pass it to my son, but just teach him, really where I came from, how I struggled coming up, and how I don't want him to struggle. So it's really gonna start there with the barbershop. Like I love music, I love my management company, but I really feel like with the barbershop, I touch so many different people every week. It's more of it's an easier place to get more knowledge out, and that it'll be spread through the community.
Yeah, accidentally.
Exactly.
That's the best part about the barbershop. It's like historically, the black barbershop.
It's on all
That's
levels.
like holy grail.
Literally.
The black barbershop, like I feel like there's more gems. There's more gems, there's more culture, there's more like if you want to know what the streets is talking about without having to be in the
You
streets,
go to the
you
barbershop.
go to the barbershop.
100%.
And
Facts,
that's like unspoken law across all black people.
Facts.
It don't matter
100%
where you
facts.
at in the country, in the world. I feel like if you go to a black barbershop, you can expect a handful of things.
Absolutely. You're gonna get from A to Z, literally, all the information you need, even if you didn't want some of the information.
Facts. And I respect that. So I'm a little jealous, low key.
Talk to me.
Cause I just say that because like I love the like the mentality around that and like
Facts.
owning a barbershop. Like
Facts.
if I could own a barbershop, I would own a barbershop. But cutting hair isn't in my repertoire of
Right.
what God has called me to do.
You a
know
jack
what
of all trades. You can't cutting hair. It's definitely it's a special.
I understand. I feel where you coming from, but the time that the way we perfectionists.
Facts.
I don't have the 10,000 hours for bar. I could.
You could. 'Cause it's
I
a
don't got
lot
the-
of detail. Just
yeah.
like how engineering and
Yeah.
making the beat. Even when we was in there talking before, I was just looking at the steps and I'm like, wow. I'm thinking my brain is like it's a lot, bro.
Facts.
For real.
Yeah. But no, I admire that because one, just from a culture perspective, my first job was sweeping floors in a barbershop.
I got you.
Like that's like there's life lessons that like stuff that is ingrained in me that I will never let go of,
I
that I
believe it.
learned in like sixth grade
That's
sweeping
great to hear.
floors at Mr. Mac's barbershop in
See,
Newport
even
News,
that,
Virginia.
even hearing
Like,
that, bro, that's great to hear, bro. Like
yeah.
that means the barbershop really has more of an influence than people think. For
Yeah,
real.
people like, and I really feel like we just have to we just have to put more intent. I don't want to say we have to do a better job because we're not doing a bad job at anything that
Right.
we're accomplishing now. I think we just have to put more intent and shine more light
Absolutely.
on those spaces. You know what I mean? Like it's harder, but
Get it done, man.
any road worth traveling is
Absolutely. It's worth going down.
it's worth going down.
For
So it's
sure.
like we definitely have to put more intent on how important that is, and like not that it's saying that it's not happening, but just putting light on the fact that it
Shed
is
more light
happening,
on it.
that it is
Absolutely.
happening, and just getting more people to be in those spaces like
Absolutely.
intentively, like
Absolutely.
and go getting those things.
Yep.
What are some things that like some intangibles that you feel like in your where you see yourself going first to let me know where you see yourself going in the next 5 years, and then after um that what you see for yourself in the next 5 years, what are some things that you've learned recently that you feel like are changing the game for accomplishing that in the next 5 years?
In 5 years, let's see. I'll be 27 at the end of the month, and I always try to motivate myself and say I don't. I'm not gonna say retired at 30, but physically working, more than 3 4 days a week. I want to do that by 30. So I'm not even gonna say 5 years. I'm gonna say I'm turning 27 at the end of January. In 3 years, by 30, I want to be retired from physically working. 5 days a week. If I can go in the shop one day, maybe cut my clients. The ones that I still have at that time,
Me
and
being on that list, hopefully.
absolutely,
Okay,
you're gonna
cool.
be in there. But yeah, cut those clients, and then just really shed more light, bro. Like do a lot more for my community back home. Just want to build more things for the kids, bro. Have more opportunities and avenues. Like I said, right now the culture is just kind of like it's like rapper and it's like be an athlete. So I just want to go down there and just show different ways that you can be successful and owning. I definitely want to own some land, some buildings. 5 years, man, I might be in Africa too, bro. I keep telling myself
That's in
that,
the
man.
plan for sure.
For sure, bro. I want to have some land in Africa, man. I feel like my soul is calling me over there. So
We gotta talk about that
for
because
sure,
I've been talking to my wife about that.
for sure, bro. Africa is where it's at, man. And what was the last question you asked me?
What are some new either mentality traits or some stuff that you've picked up on that you feel like is really uh putting like stuff that you've added to your repertoire that's in your back pocket now that's like making that 5 years look a lot more tangible.
The number one thing, and I seen you tweeted about it and you posted about it, is writing things down, bro.
Facts.
Like literally, that is the number one thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's
if
been
I
my thing this
and
year.
even when I checked my planner this morning, I had wrote things down from like a month ago, and I had literally had checked all of them off before the end. But I didn't notice until I went back. So really, writing things down, bro, because it's a lot of things that's flowing through your head, a lot of ideas. But until it's like actually written down on a piece of paper, and you can set a plan to take action and do it, it kind of won't get done. There's a million things, and we still wake up with things that's on our mind, and then we wake up and still gotta adjust to the new things that's coming today. So I would definitely say the number one thing for me is writing it down, and then just working more efficient. Working more efficient, bro. I've been working hard since I was like 16. Got my first job at McDonald's at 16. I've been working ever since then. So it might not seem like a long time for some people, but I done put in a lot of man hours and a lot of physical work. So I'm just learning to like really work smarter and not harder, bro. Because I was working hard and got somewhere, but didn't get as far as I could have if I would have just worked smarter.
What are some of the what are some of the interchangeable efficiency tactics that you feel like you've gotten that have helped with that efficiency and working smarter? Like I know, cause I know I think about I'm a conceptual person.
Right.
Like I don't like I'm detail oriented, but I like just studying concepts because I'll
Absolutely.
take a concept of like how something works over here and apply it to something that has nothing to do with that.
Absolutely.
So I like stuff that's like concepts. So what are some concepts that you feel like have helped you with your efficiency?
Um, for sure, just prioritizing some things. I guess once I do get them written down, just prioritizing and making a plan. Okay, like when I opened my shop, when I bought my shop in the middle of the pandemic, I knew I had to completely remodel it, but I knew I didn't have as much funds coming in because the government had shut us down. So in that time, I just really came to myself and said, okay, how can I make a plan, write it out, and then take action at it? And then it was more of prioritizing, not necessarily trying to get everything done in one day. So one day I would get this done, and then if it wasn't as much as I thought I was gonna get done, I was still happy with getting something done.
Mm-hmm.
So the smaller goals, just knocking out the smaller goals, really helped me prioritize. And now I'm taking bigger steps than I could even like kind of picture because just the smaller things that got done, I guess. Um, I know the number one thing as far as running a business, I would say just like the marketing and promotion behind it. Like I feel like even if you have an idea, if it's not necessarily being promoted and marketed to new people every day, then it's gonna plateau or stagnate at some point. So I would definitely say getting up every day and just believing in your brand, believing in yourself, and then just kind of pushing that every single day.
Facts. Random saying, I just made this up,
Yep,
like literally 2.2 seconds.
literally.
You can be the best thing since sliced bread. That don't mean anything to a nigga that don't eat sandwiches.
That's true. You sit there and go stale, man. For real. That's
You gotta
absolutely true.
what I figured out last year is like we all have self confidence and we all have a lot of confidence in ourselves. We're not
Facts.
necessarily arrogant, but we feel like whatever we're setting out to do, like we can accomplish those things.
Absolutely.
Accomplishing those things are great for self motivation, but if you don't have anybody to show it to, if you don't have anybody to share it with, if you're not making it shareable for other people to grow and get that same what you got out of it,
Facts.
then it's not gonna be as great as it could be. You'll only be able to appreciate it from face value,
Facts. From what you're seeing
from
today.
what you seeing it as.
And it might seem like the biggest idea, but it's like you got to get it out there for everyone to see. Let the world see it.
Yes,
And
because
you
the
gonna have
best thing, because the best things in life for me are the stuff that are bigger than me.
absolutely.
We
You're
in
gonna have
it.
your naysayers and the people who pick you. So you just gotta kind of gotta look at that. Let me just say one thing too. I've noticed like when you stay humble and you kind of like stay on the right path, like just beware of the devil testing you because when you're doing good in a lot of that it has to be a negative to come in there and kind of like outbalance that. So I just want to say that to a lot of people too. Even if things are going like the best and the greatest, like beware
Yeah.
there is something for sure gonna happen that's gonna kind of take you back a few steps. But that's what happens when you're doing good. So
That's what happens when you're doing great.
facts,
If you are a believer and you are a faith based person, you know what I mean. Keep your Judas close to you.
absolutely, got to keep them right there.
Got to keep Judas. Got to be somewhere. If you
Absolutely,
don't see Judas, then something wrong.
absolutely,
Just make sure you can eye it out. That's the biggest thing.
absolutely, bro.
I appreciate you coming on the show
Bro, I
today.
appreciate you, bro. Great conversation,
This is
bro.
amazing conversation. We didn't even get to the cards today.
I know.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna just see what the top card
Let's see
top
what it
card
says.
says.
First card.
These the first. I haven't used it. I'm gonna start using these cards. We got these pod decks. These cards for random. I guess I only have to use these when I got somebody boring on. It says, "What was your first screen name?" I don't even know what is. What? Matter of fact, what was the first social media that you had?
Probably MySpace.
MySpace. Was your name. Your name wasn't your name on MySpace.
It wasn't my name.
I'm sure nobody's name was their name on MySpace. I don't
I
even
know
remember.
my email was Alphonza Mad Pit. Like I know that, but I definitely don't remember my username to my MySpace.
Yeah, I don't remember my username either.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. I wish I could go find it. I'm interested.
I'm actually interested to know now. Like,
I'm very
my
interested to
first
know what
name?
was my first name. But I feel like that's a deep one too, because I think we've all went through like ridiculous like name changes.
Yeah.
Like social media name changes from whatever you thought you wanted to be to whatever
Facts.
you wish you could be.
Facts.
And now it's like now we're kind of settled in what we got going on.
I'm more
like,
on the simple side now.
We're
sure.
now it's kind of like I'm X.
Yeah. Yep. You're just gonna be me.
I'm gonna be me.
Absolutely.
I went through all of this to be
me.
To be me.
Facts. That's the best way, bro. The best way is to be yourself, man. That way you don't gotta fake it for nobody.
Bro, I think that's a perfect way to take this out. I don't even need to say nothing else. We go through it, do everything, make all the changes you need. Today's takeaway is you're gonna go through it. You're gonna make a whole bunch of changes. You're gonna go in and out. You're gonna go up and down. And at the end of the day, you're gonna realize all you had to do was be you.
Facts, bro. That's real.
This is Caffeine and Creatives. I'm X.
I'm AJ, also known as Breeze.
Where can they follow you at?
Oh, follow me on Instagram at Breeze_the Barber. I actually follow my barbershop page too at True Culture Barber Lounge. You can find us at 6215 Bells Ferry Road, and that's in Acworth, Georgia, Suite 500. You can also go on our website, book an appointment. That's at www.trueculturebarberlounge.com. Also follow the management page. That's True Culture Management. At the end, it's just MGMT. So True Culture MGMT. Set up your consultation with me and my boy X, man.
For sure. We're going to get you right.
Yes,
I'm going to make sure. I'm going to put all his information on the video, too. It's going to be over there somewhere. Yes, I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction.
Somewhere in this area.
Somewhere right there. Yeah. Follow me at xeks.wave, WAV. And we out. This is Caffeine and Creatives. You can also follow the new Caffeine and Creatives Instagram page. It's just Caffeine and Creatives.
Follow that for sure, man.
You know what I mean? Check this out.
Come tap in. Great vibes every time, man.
Always.
For sure.
Always got to secure the vibe. Y'all be blessed. Love y'all.
Stay safe.